When I was in high school, I used to be a certified clingy ass chick. I would just be sitting in bed and just always wondering what they were up to, wondering who were they with or what they were doing or if there was any pretty girls around. Are they cheating on me? Are they this? And then I would just blow up their phones like a crazy person. We're not going to do any of that in 2025, okay? We're not going to be clingy. We're going to be self assured. We're going to be good and confident within ourselves. And today I'm going to talk about some ways and some tips and tricks that I've learned that have helped me in becoming a lot less clingy when it comes to relationships and friendships. And look, listen, I understand, right? When we love somebody, when we really want to spend our time with somebody, it's kind of natural almost, especially if you're a people pleaser, to kind of fall into that trap of wanting to please the other individual. And then after a certain point, the more you want to please that individual, the more you kind of lose a little bit of yourself. Tiny bit by tiny bit, you start to sacrifice the things that you always enjoy doing for that person. At the end of the day, you wake up one day and you realize you're kind of a husk of a human. You're just skin and bones. You've lost everything that has made you you. You started to depend on other people to value you, to validate you, to make you feel like you're worth something. And I don't want any of that for any of you. And I don't want that for me either. And so I've written them down a nice little list of things that have helped me. For those of you who don't know, my name is Alex. I make all types of different types of content or whatever. Whenever I feel like talking about something, I'm going to talk about it. And today, I'm going to tell you some tricks that helped me become a lot less clingy in my relationships and my friendships. So, number one thing is detaching yourself from expectations. And look, okay, I know it's a big one. I know it's a big one, okay? And I know it's difficult to do. Now, this is different for relationships and friendships. Relationships, there's going to be different types of boundaries and expectations, obviously, because we expect certain things from our partners, right? But in terms of friendships, I think that we often fall into the pattern of wanting our friendships to look a certain way. And when they don't, we kind of project onto the other person. Let's say, for example, you're the type of person that wants to hang out with your friend, right? And you consistently message your friend to hang out, and that friend's busy or doesn't have enough time, or maybe they're not responding for whatever reason. And instead of just, maybe wondering what's happening or leaving them their space, you start to assume the worst things. You start to project your insecurities. Oh, what if this person doesn't like me? And then you start to become angry. It's like, oh, well, this person's a bad friend. Oh, well, this person doesn't treat me the way I treat them. That person doesn't care about me. All of these things, you project all of those things onto that individual without any full form of proof, simply because you feel like you need something from them. And that's where that neediness comes from. It's from the expectations that you place onto your friendships. And so, something that has helped me in reframing my mindset and detaching from the outcomes and the expectations that I want from other people is by accepting people for how they are, solely and fully for who they are, right? If I ask somebody to hang out with me, rather than getting upset because they're busy or they're hanging out with other friends or wondering if they even like me, I just think to myself, all right, they're busy. I don't fill my brain with all the possibilities of what it could be. I don't let myself talk in this anxiety ridden type of way where I think about all of the worst possible outcomes. I just think of the most plausible outcome, and that is the one that makes the most logical sense, which is they're probably busy. They have other things to do. And that's okay, right? And now it's up to you to figure out if this is the type of person that you want into your life or not. If you've deduced that this is an individual that you do not want in your life anymore, then it's very simple. You can come from it from a place of abundance rather than a place of scarcity, wanting something, needing something from people. Well, I'll only be happy if that person treats me a certain way. I'll only be happy if I get love this certain way. No, You make the decisions of what you want or what you tolerate in your life. Nobody else is going to fill that gap for you. And so instead of looking at it in such a scarcity mindset, you come from a place of acceptance within yourself. You think to yourself, well, I'm full and happy as I am on my own. If this individual doesn't add to my life, then you just move on. It is better to be within your own company than be in bad company, right? Or I guess that's how the saying goes. 2, get some hobbies, man. Like full on just get some hobbies. If you all you do is just sit around and watch TV and movies, you need to get some hobbies. You need to go out, do some sort of movement. You need to do something. You can play video games if you want to. Just do something, something that you could put your mind towards, something that you could just focus for just a little bit, just a little bit, and just forget about all of the other things. Something that you can do when your partner is out doing something and you're not just sitting around waiting for them. And I think it's normal when we get into relationships that we kind of lose a little bit of our, you know, like sense of identity. We start to get a little bit lazy. We start to just not do the things that we used to do. And you can just kind of fall into this pattern of just like watching TV and just relaxing and whatever. And I get that. But then one day you find yourself feeling so empty. So empty. And that's because it's important in relationships that two individual people have their own things that make them who they are. And then they come back together, they talk about it, and it makes life more fulfilling. And look, I get it. We're social individuals, we're social people, we're social creatures. We need to interact with people, we need to be surrounded by people. It's a given, it's a fact, right? And so I can understand why we get so dependent on our partners, why we need them so viciously. But you just have to remind yourself that the more you do so, the more you lose your sense of self, right? Obviously, it's not good to be too independent, but also don't be so self sacrificing that you lose what makes you a human being. Doesn't even matter what gender you are, doesn't matter. It's all about you as a soul, as a human being on this planet. That is what matters, is that you are self sufficient and accepting and abundant, all in your own. And everything else, relationships, friendships, are just the cherry on top of an already wonderful life. That's how it should be. You shouldn't be relying on anyone else to value you, to validate your experience, to validate your life. You don't need any of that. It's 2025, man. Get some confidence. Third thing, socialize. For the love of God. Even if you don't socialize with many people, try. Try to. Go to your local coffee shop and talk to the barista. Maybe go to the same coffee shop like every day or a few times a week and talk to the same people. Say hi. Ask a question besides, how are you? Oh my God, what are you studying? Oh my, it is so easy. Just start a conversation. And look, you're going to fumble. You're going to be awkward. You're going to be silly. You're going to look dumb. But at the end of the day, the more practice you have, the more you don't need to rely on your friends and your partner to socialize. You could just do it whenever. You don't need to rely on anybody else. If you feel like chatting about, I don't know, like something like the weather, you don't need to talk to your partner about that. You can talk to the barista about that. You can annoy them if you want to. I think the easiest way to do so is within a workplace. Be compassionate, be kind to your coworkers. Go out of your way to help them out if you can. Build a rapport with them. Socialize with them. You'll feel a lot less lonely. And I know that with the way things are going, we're kind of moving towards a work from home type of situation. And then you kind of fall into this habit where you get so comfortable working from home that you can't even imagine socializing with people. I get it. But at the end of the day, you'll find that you kind of do need that socialization. That's something I realized. When I was working at an office job, work from home, where I was working 9 hours a day on my computer. I was going insane, insane, absolutely insane because I needed to be around people. I needed to feel the environment of people. It was important to me. And it makes me feel like I'm valued not only because of my relationship, because of what I would contribute to whatever it is that I do, work, YouTube, anything, hobbies. You are more than what your relationship is. You are more than what your friendships are. So socialize more. At least try a little bit. Fourth thing and last thing, reframe your mindset. Go from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset, from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. When you feel clingy and needy, you depend on the other person to feel your need to fill your needs. Let's say you want to go to a party or you want to go watch a movie, go to a museum. You're always going to ask that person to come with you because you're afraid to go alone. Or you're always going to depend on the other person to entertain you, to bring you to things. And I've fallen into that before, where I would just hope that the individual would just bring me places. But you don't need to do any of that. And you know why you think this way is because you think from a negative mindset, a needy mindset. You need those things to survive. But you don't. You don't, actually. And you can give that to yourself. You don't need somebody else to do whatever it is that you feel like doing. Sometimes it's even better to do things alone than it is to do with other people. I'll be honest, I've gotten used to that. Sometimes you do things with other people and then you always have to constantly think about what it is. Are they feeling good? Are they enjoying what they're doing? Blah, blah, blah. No, you just get to think about yourself. What a wonderful thing. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, and all you have to think about is yourself. You just have to do it. You just have to do it once, twice, 3 times, a few times. Get used to it. Because you are whole as you are. You are abundant, you are full, you do not need anything except basic survival, food, shelter. Otherwise, and maybe socializing. But you do not need to rely on anybody else to fill you, to give you purpose, to make you feel valued. And you know why? Because nobody else will find your purpose for you. Nobody outside of yourself will give you meaning. You give yourself meaning. You give yourself who you are. You are the only one that's left at the end of the day. You are alone. You will be alone. I know that's a hard thing to say. Okay, that's a hard thing to say. I get it. But we all end up alone. We are all alone mentally. And this isn't to say you can't rely on people. We need people. We need to socialize. But we don't need them to tell us who we are. They are just the little cherry on top of an already beautiful sundae that is you. Okay, sorry. That was a little fucking cheesy. My bad. And so the last thing I want to say before I leave off this video is that if you're in a relationship and you feel clingy towards another individual, if you're sitting on your phone waiting for them to text you, if you are literally incapable of doing anything until they message you, I'm sorry to say, but you shouldn't feel that way in your relationship. You don't need to be clingy with somebody that you trust because you trust them. And so, if you didn't trust them, then you would need the validation from that person that they're not cheating, that they're not out without you, that they're not meeting somebody else, that they're where they say they are. And that's that scarcity mindset. Because if you were truly content, if you were truly happy with who you are, secure with who you are, secure with the relationship, you wouldn't need to rely on the other person to give you a sense of self because you already have that. And I'm here because I want you to have that. I want me to have that. I want all of us to have that. We don't need to be sitting here worrying about what the next person is going to text us. We don't need to be sitting here wondering if our friends like us. You don't need any of that. Okay? So, that's it for today. I just wanted to talk about the different ways that have helped me become a little bit less clingy in my life. And I feel a lot more secure in my friendships, my relationships, and everything by doing these things. And naturally, I became a lot more confident and assured in who I am. And I hope maybe that this helps. If not, I guess I'll go fuck myself. And with that, please take care of yourself. And I hope you have a wonderful night, a wonderful day, whatever it is that you are watching. I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way or in a negative light. I just want to help you become a more confident and self assured individual. If you're one of those people that defend being clingy, that defend being dependent on your partner, um, you have the right to your own opinion. I've found in my experience that that leads to a lot of drama and bad situations and feeling lost, feeling purposelessness, feeling like I'm a shell of a human because I've been through it. As many people that I've known have also been through it. So I hope that this helps. And if it doesn't, I guess I'll go fuck myself. Okay. Um, Thanks for watching and have a great night. Bye.